You know how people are always talking about different ways to de-stress, go on a walk, meditate, read a book, take a bath. I wanted to talk about ways to de-stress that are kind of, I don't want to say unconventional, but they're not talked about that much amongst the groups that I'm in. They don't talk about them. One thing that really worked for me is sound bath healing. There's a lady that comes to my job. She brings her bowls and she does the sound bath healing. I had a headache. So she starts doing the bowl. It's not a loud noise, it's kind of a soothing sound. And as she was going, I noticed that my head stopped hurting. And then I was like, hmm. And then she kept going. And then I noticed that I was falling asleep. I was definitely falling asleep. Then I was like, all right, let me get up. I got up, went for a walk. But then I really noticed that my head had stopped hurting. So then after she was done, she said that a lot of times certain people have certain elements in that. And they take the bowls and put them on that spot on their body. So I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. She was saying how she had fibromyalgia and she would put the bowls on her body and it helped with her fibromyalgia and she doesn't have it anymore. She doesn't have that pain anymore. Then I got to thinking and I was like, nobody I know talks about sound bath healing except for maybe my cousin. But other than that, anybody else, I don't think we've ever had a conversation about sound bath healing. But it's definitely a different way to de-stress. Something popped up on my feed about floating tanks. And I was looking into the floating tanks and I text my cousin, I'm like, did you do floating tanks? And she's like, yeah, there's one where I live, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I want to try it. After I thought about it, I was like, that's got to be, another way to de-stress because a lot of people find it relaxing. So look into floating tanks. And I know a lot of people do yoga, but I've never heard anyone talking about how they did laughing yoga. So I went to the Google and looked up laughing yoga. And it was kind of funny. But I don't think I would do it, but it was kind of funny. But sometimes we got to get outside of the box and do things that we wouldn't usually do. Yes, meditation is fine. Yes, uh, prayer is fine. And going to the gym and doing different things. But sometimes you got to mix it up. And then there were some who were saying, everybody has their thing, but then there were some that were saying fire spinning, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to spin any fire, but to each his own. Somebody might want to do it. And then I seen beekeeping. If you're not allergic to bees, that might be something you want to look into and doing mud therapy, which I don't know. I don't know if I would do mud therapy, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it, but it depends where the mud came from. And then there are mineral baths. I did a mineral bath in Jamaica. Some of them are hot, some of them are cold. It was freezing. It was freezing. It was cold. One thing I noticed about that, when we got out of the water, my skin felt so soft, like to the point because I didn't put my face in it, and I seen people putting their face in it. I don't know. I just didn't put my face in it. If I knew my skin was gonna feel as soft as it felt, I probably would have put my face in it. But the minerals came from a stream down a rock. It was all this, the guy was explaining everything to us. They had a whole list of all the minerals and all that. If I could find the pictures of all the minerals, I'll put it in here. But it told you all the minerals that was in the water, and we sat in there for probably, I don't know, probably about half an hour. And my skin felt better. My body actually felt better. Just you could tell that there was something in the water. Rage rooms. Rage rooms are they're definitely a thing. I mean, it's not anything that's not really not talked about. But I don't think a lot of people know places to go to a rage room because they're not that. I know in my city they had one, but now it's gone. I don't know if they're more popular in bigger cities like in New York and LA and stuff like that. But rage rooms is definitely a room where you can just let out all your rage on stuff that people donated to the rage room. Another one that I tried, hypnosis. There's guided. There's guided hypnosis. You can learn how to hypnotize yourself, but hypnosis definitely takes your stress off for me. So figure out what's good for you and you want to do something that's more fun. Because I know for me, I can dance around my house for 2 hours listening to good music, and that helps with stress. So figure out what's good for you. You don't have to do everything. If you're not good with meditating and you want to meditate, but you can only meditate for 15, 20 minutes and somebody else is meditating for 2 hours, do what's best for you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with meditation because meditation is definitely good, but there has to be more than one way for us to de-stress, especially in the stressful world that we're living in stressful environments. And sometimes you may need to remove yourself from those stressful environments. So I want you guys to think about that, and I will talk to you guys later.